This is why I choose the bear. This is why we all choose the bears. Because the Biden administration had to sue the state of Idaho because the state of Idaho doesn't want to provide abortions to women in emergency rooms. They literally sat in court today arguing about what specific types of organs women could lose before it meant that the state had to intervene and save them. And just in case you want an example of how fucked up this is, that's Amy Coney Barrett siding with the other justices, the other reasonable justices, on why this is terrible law by the state of Idaho. This is going to be a super and fast, rough summary. Bear with me. Bears. EMTALA is a federal law and required that hospitals treat any patient that walked through its door. Because, you know, hospitals were refusing to treat poor people. It's capitalism. Hospitals that violate EMTALA can receive hefty fines from the government. They can be sued by the patient. They can potentially lose Medicare funding. It's a big deal, and it was meant to be that way so that hospitals provided a standard of care to all patients. But Idaho was like, we see your standard of care, and we lower ours to the ground because we don't want to have to provide abortions in our emergency rooms. We don't believe the federal government can force us to do that. Even if women lose their reproductive organs, we don't care. If she's going to live, we shouldn't have to do it. That's what Josh Turner says right here, this dude. And so they spent the day in court talking to Mr. Turner saying, so I'm trying to understand why the state allows emergency abortions in the case of a woman's death, but not to preserve her health. Justin Kagan is like, women are losing bodily organs and you're okay with that as long as they survive. This seems not right. And Turner's like, yeah, I mean, these are difficult situations that raise, quote, tough medical questions that implicate deeply theological and moral questions. No, they fucking don't, Josh. It's pretty fucking simple. If a woman shows up at a hospital needing emergency medical care, you need to provide that medical care, even if it means an abortion. Just because you have a weird evangelical agenda doesn't mean you get to opt out of a federal law meant to protect patients. What? This law has been in effect since January because the Supreme Court was like, you know what? While we're waiting to hear the case, y'all can just go ahead and enforce your law. You don't have to give women abortions if you don't want to. Bears would never.